tenacity, perseverance, and a wild sense of adventure. You have to be tenacious to kind of push through some of the setbacks and challenges. You have to have perseverance to continue on the journey when it gets tough, or when you want to give in or throw in the towel. And just kind of a wild sense of adventure to get out of your comfort zone and get into the unknown, if you will. My name is Neil Krabari. I've been with La Mesa RV since 2015. Started out as a salesperson and then went into management in 2019, and went to Florida for a year to help open up a new store, and am now back in Phoenix. I grew up in Reno, Nevada. I was born in Colorado but moved away after my parents got divorced when I was young. Had a pretty tough childhood. Had two older brothers, and I was raised by a single dad. And so, we were raised pretty Spartan, which has its advantages and disadvantages. But we had some good times and we had some bad times. And so we are very, very close and had a really close-knit family. And one of the things that we loved to do together was get into the outdoors. So I'm going to be attempting Middle Palisade Peak, and it is where the furthest southern glacier is in the United States. It's a California 14er, so it's a mountain that's 14,000 feet above sea level. There's a pretty good amount of them in California, and this one is one of the more challenging ones. And it is one that I've actually tried already twice. My goal for this trip is always to get to the top, although getting to the top of the mountain isn't always mandatory. Getting down safely is. So more than anything is to have a great adventure is my first goal. Kind of renew, get restored. It's kind of a place to recharge my batteries. And I would ultimately love to get to the top, but getting down safely is the ultimate goal. So a recent challenge that majorly affected my life, thankfully was able to locate a tumor in my right glute, and my wife made me stretch. We were working out together, and I was down in like a downward dog position, and there was like a lump that popped out, and so she saw that and said, hey, you ought to get this checked out. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's got to be nothing. And so anyways, I ended up checking it out, and it turned out to be a sarcoma, which is kind of a pretty rare cancerous tumor. Thankfully was able to get it removed up at the Mayo Clinic. Didn't have to do radiation or chemo, which is a huge blessing, but they were able to get it out completely, and that was in June, so 4 months prior to this trip. I remember waking up in the hospital, and it was one of the most surreal experiences coming out of sedation, and it was pretty frightening, actually. I'm not a person who has like a lot of fear or kind of too much concern about things, but I remember kind of coming back and like waking up in the hospital going, where am I? Thankfully, I was able to get out the first night. I was able to get home and be with my family, my wife and my 6 children. And but it was probably like a month recovery. I was able, thankfully, because I'm in pretty good shape, to be able to get up and walk every day. Although I couldn't, like sitting down was difficult. I had to kind of like sit sideways or lay down a lot. And it really made me grateful for just mobility. Climbing mountains is important to me, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to people who don't do it. But it's important to me because it's hard, and it's uncomfortable, but there's this really big reward when you get to the top, and there's this accomplishment that comes with it, and there's this like I can face any challenge in life when I come back down. I call it a mountain high. I love the challenge, and if I can accomplish that, then I feel like I can do anything. My plan for this trip is, it's always a quick trip, right? And that's one of the reasons I love the adventure van lifestyle. It's just so easy to get in and go. With the adventure van, you can jump in it and just head out. And so I'm gonna head out from Phoenix, drive straight to the base of the mountain and sleep overnight, get up in the morning, make some coffee, of course, and get my gear ready, make sure I've got all the right gear. I'm gonna try an overnight trip rather than doing it in one day. One day is really pretty crazy. Although the first time I tried this, I did try to do it in one day and I almost made it to the top, but I just ran out of gas. So I'll probably start at like 9 or 10 in the morning, full gear, full pack, tent, sleeping bag, hike up. I think it's like 5 miles, probably 25 to 3,000 vertical feet of elevation, camp out at this beautiful lake. It's called Finger Lake. It's like a glacial lake. It's one of the most beautiful places in all of the Sierras. I'll camp overnight. I'll set up the tent. I'll set up my camp, and then I'll get up in the morning and attempt to get up the peak. So my favorite thing about the Adventure Wagon is just how simple it is, how rugged it is, and how utilitarian it is. But I absolutely loved the portable generator that it's really not a generator, it's like a big battery pack. I was able to make my coffee in the morning. I was able to blend a smoothie. I love the fact that you've got the portable refrigerator, so I was able to keep some of my stuff cold. It was really nice to be able to come back down and be able to, have a nice, juice, banana, yogurt, kind of hydrate after the trip. The bed was just absolutely amazing compared to sleeping on the ground or trying to find a hotel. And the water jug is really nice too for all your water supply. And then of course all the gear bags up top, and then you can add or take away anything you want. I mean, if you're a motocross rider, you can take the bed out. If you're a mountain bikes, you can take the bikes and put them underneath. There's just so many uses for it. So it's very, very nice unit. Easy to drive, can get in pretty much anywhere you need to go, anywhere that a Ford F-150 would go. Other than the height, this is a little taller than a Ford F-150, but it'll go anywhere that a Ford F-150 would go. So the morning of the hike in, I was feeling like $1 million. I was able to get a really good night's sleep. I was pretty excited, a lot of anticipation. I hadn't been in the Sierras for a couple of years, and I'm used to at least getting up there once a year. I actually was just kind of like a kid on Christmas morning. It's like how I am in the mountains. It's like I'm home. It feels like home to me. So I was so excited to be back in the mountains again and breathing in the air, listening to the rushing water of the creek. It's if you haven't been, it's just unreal. It's just so surreal, so peaceful, so serene, and it's like this. It's like you found what you've been missing. Upon getting to my campsite, I was exhausted. Got our campsite set up there. Got this beautiful Finger Lake. It's just kind of cut right through these slabs of granite. The scale here is just hard to even explain. But this is absolutely beautiful. It was a really big challenge. My scar was extremely sore. I didn't know, I was a little bit concerned that maybe I had pushed myself a little too far, a little too quick. But I'm always one of those people mentally, I'm gonna get through it. I just didn't know, I didn't know my body had hit its limit. Because I've never had surgery before. So I was still, the views, the scenery was unbelievable. It was such an amazing place to set up camp. And it took a lot just to get up here. So it's worth every bit of effort though. This is something that you will look back upon, I will look back upon, and always remember this day and this moment. It was good once I got settled down and I was able to relax and kind of settled in. But yeah, at first I was like, wow, I am really beat. Some of the dangers that you face when you're out, there's like the small dangers, like you twist an ankle or you fall, like not a serious fall, but where you can't actually walk anymore and get back down. The real danger on this trip is going to be on the mountain itself, because you have about a 7.5 mile hike up to get to what's called the Palisade. And so you're hand over hand climbing, and there might be some ice up there. I'm kind of going late in the year. It could be slick, so you've got that challenge, that difficulty. And this stuff absolutely is brutal coming back. One of the other ones is if you don't bring enough water and you're drinking water out of the streams, you can get like some bacteria. That's not fun. The biggest danger is going to be up on the Palisade, climbing the rock face. There's one place on the mountain, it's called the Red Gully, and it's not good rock. And so I remember the first time that I attempted it, I actually grabbed a hold of this rock and it broke. It fell off and I was falling backwards, and I like lunged to grab it again. That one broke, and I lunged to grab it again, and I finally got like a good hold, and that scared, it was like, oh, your adrenaline kicks in, and so you're just kind of hanging there on the side of the mountain, but thankfully that's only a small part of the climb. The rest of it's really good rock, and of course I'm not gonna have to worry about the rock breaking like that.
So did you make it to the top?
Unfortunately, I did not make it. It was my third attempt, and I was unsuccessful. I knew when I woke up in the morning, I just could feel it. I just didn't have you can feel it. You can feel when the energy's flowing and you're ready to tackle it, and I just didn't have it. And so I gave it a good effort. I'm still glad that I went, and unfortunately, though, it didn't get up, and again, my most important thing with having 7 people depending on me, and friends and family, is to be able to get down safely. So I don't ever want to put myself in a position where I can't get back down. So I didn't end up making it to the top. It's bittersweet to get so close and then to not be able to accomplish the mission. But at the same time, it's again, it reminds me of life. There are so many times in life where you just don't always win, right? But the effort that you put in and the things that you learn in the failure make you a better person and make you more prepared for the next climb. Almost home, almost back to the van, baby, the adventure wagon. Can't wait to lay down, make some coffee, eat some food. Let's go, baby. I will most definitely be back to try again, and I will accomplish it. So I will try probably a little bit earlier in the season, and I will obviously be in a lot better shape. I won't be recovering from a surgery, hopefully, but yeah, I'll most definitely be back, and love to get to the top.